I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like. Could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track. With a lot of this.
Matter of human hunting. And when a mind control slave such as myself was stripped of clothes and turned loose in the woods, I was then hunted by George Bush, Dick Cheney, and Bill Clinton.
So after years of being pushed to the sidelines in Hollywood, Mel Gibson suddenly storms back into the spotlight. Old clips of him talking about corruption in the industry and even mentioning Epstein way back in the 90s are now blowing up online. People are shocked because Mel was never seen as the hero in any story. His past controversies were loud, messy, and impossible to ignore. For a long time, it felt like his name came with a warning label. But now some folks are looking at him differently. They're saying whatever mistakes he made before, he's not listed among the powerful names tied to the Epstein scandal. There's also chatter online claiming that his refusal to move a certain way in Hollywood may have cost him major opportunities. That's speculation, not proof, but it's got people talking.
I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and, and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill, and it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like. Could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track. With a lot of this stuff, not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real.
Mel even backed the film Sound of Freedom, which focused on human trafficking, and supporters argue that he's been trying to pull back the curtain for years. In the movie, the story was disturbing enough, but many online are claiming that real-life cases are even darker. Meanwhile, Epstein is trending again after the Department of Justice released a massive batch of documents connected to his case. The internet went into overdrive, with millions of pages of records being analyzed, debated, and picked apart in real time. The wild part is, a lot of people believe those released files still aren't the full story. There's a loud wave of voices online saying what we've seen might just be a fraction of what actually exists. Some commentators claim there could be sealed material that hasn't been made public because of how explosive it might be. Now, to be clear, that's speculation floating around social media, not confirmed fact. But the fact that people even think that tells you how little trust there is right now.
You believe that children are being abused by pedophiles in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
So why are you sitting down talking to me? Why aren't you sitting down with the police right now?
I've told the police. In fact, if anybody wants to go back to 1993 when I was interviewed by the Santa Barbara Police Department, I sat there and I gave them the names. They're on record. They have all of this information.
Some of the documents that have been released describe disturbing situations involving young women being mistreated by Epstein and other adult men. Court records over the years have referenced inappropriate conduct and abuse, and certain materials were described as too graphic to release publicly. Even reading the summaries is enough to make your stomach turn. It paints a picture of manipulation, power imbalance, and straight-up cruelty that's hard to process. One email that surfaced during earlier court proceedings really shook people. Epstein allegedly wrote, "They are like shrimp. You throw away the top, keep the body, girl." That quote spread across the internet fast, and people were outraged. To many, it showed a shocking level of dehumanization. It wasn't just scandal anymore. It felt dark and calculated.
Saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are.
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this business?
¡Pero que habían comido humanos!
What's adding gasoline to the outrage is the belief that justice feels incomplete. Beyond Epstein, who died in custody, and Ghislaine Maxwell, who is serving a federal prison sentence, critics say there hasn't been a long list of powerful figures held accountable. That gap has fueled non-stop debates online. Some people even push theories that Epstein might still be alive, though there's no verified evidence supporting that claim. It shows how deep the distrust runs. Then there's the report that Epstein purchased hundreds of gallons of sulfuric acid back in 2018. Sulfuric acid has legitimate industrial uses in manufacturing and laboratories, but when people hear about large quantities connected to someone with Epstein's criminal history, it raises eyebrows fast. Social media ran with it, suggesting all kinds of dark possibilities. However, no official report has publicly confirmed that those chemicals were tied to any proven criminal act. Right now, the mix of verified court documents, unanswered questions, and viral theories has created a storm that just won't calm down. People want transparency, accountability, and real answers. And until they feel like they're getting them, the speculation isn't going anywhere. Here's another twist that raised eyebrows. Reports claim Epstein bought that chemical shipment the exact same day the FBI opened a case connected to him. Now, that timing alone had the internet buzzing. There's no official statement linking the two events directly, but people online locked onto that detail fast and started asking questions. While all this chaos was unfolding, one unexpected name kept popping up in conversations. Mel Gibson. And yeah, for a lot of people that sounds wild, because for years the industry painted him as the villain. His past controversies were front-page news, and the narrative stuck hard. But now some supporters are saying maybe the story wasn't that simple. Take his 2004 film, The Passion of the Christ. Major studios reportedly passed on funding it, so Mel financed the project himself. The movie went on to become a massive box office success. At the time, critics accused him of promoting harmful ideas, and he faced serious backlash, including anti-Semitism allegations. Those accusations were widely reported, and the fallout damaged his reputation in a major way. That part of the story is documented and real. Now, old interviews from the late 90s are resurfacing where Mel talked about uncomfortable experiences when he first entered Hollywood in his mid-20s. In those clips, he describes feeling shocked by certain behaviors around him and said he couldn't understand why others seemed so comfortable with things that bothered him. At the time, mainstream outlets dismissed his comments and focused heavily on his controversies instead. Supporters now argue he was warning people about corruption long before it became a trending topic. Critics, of course, say that's revisionist history. The truth sits somewhere in the middle, and separating fact from hype isn't easy. What's undeniable is that he faced years of professional isolation, with studios hesitant to attach his name to projects. His comeback only gained serious traction after independently producing The Passion of the Christ, which forced Hollywood to pay attention again. And when people online say Hollywood is the modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah, they're expressing frustration with what they see as moral decay in the industry. That's an opinion, not a proven fact. But it shows just how emotional and divided this conversation has become. But it doesn't stop there. After Mel was pushed out of the spotlight, some people online started saying the industry simply moved on and backed faces they felt were easier to work with. One of those names tied to that era was Jim Caviezel, the actor who played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. At the time, Jim became closely associated with the film's success, and his profile rose fast. Now here's where the conversation gets layered. Supporters of Mel and Jim claim that working in Hollywood opened their eyes to things happening behind closed doors. That's their perspective, not proven fact. But it's part of why both men later became vocal about issues they believed were being ignored. Years later, Mel supported the film Sound of Freedom, which starred Jim and focused on the fight against child trafficking. The movie was directed by Alejandro Monteverde and produced by Eduardo Verástegui, with Mel publicly backing the project and encouraging people to watch it. The film was made on a reported $14.5 million budget and went on to gross over $250 million worldwide, a massive return that shocked industry insiders. The story follows a federal agent who leaves his job to rescue children from traffickers operating overseas. It opens in Honduras, where a struggling father, Roberto Aguilar, is deceived by a woman posing as a talent scout. She convinces him to let his children participate in what seems like a modeling opportunity, but it turns out to be a trap. The children are abducted and taken across borders into trafficking networks. Jim's character works to dismantle exploitation rings and rescue victims, eventually learning that one child is still being held in Colombia. Despite legal and bureaucratic obstacles, he chooses to continue the mission. He teams up with local contacts, including a former cartel accountant known as Vampiro, to track down those responsible. The film sparked huge debate. Some praised it for raising awareness about trafficking, while others criticized how certain topics were portrayed. Either way, it turned into a cultural flashpoint that had everybody talking. In the film, they run an undercover operation in Cartagena, posing as wealthy buyers to expose the dark trafficking network hiding in plain sight. The scenes are intense, showing how these criminal rings operate behind fancy doors and fake business fronts. At the time, most people saw it as just another thriller based on a serious issue. But after everything that's come out about Epstein, some viewers are looking back at those storylines differently. From fake modeling scouts to secretive parties involving powerful people, the parallels have fueled online debates. To be clear, there's no verified evidence directly connecting the movie's plot to Epstein's specific crimes. Still, the timing has people talking. Social media lit up with reactions. One person wrote, "Reading the Epstein files, it sounds like the billionaires let their own kids get raped by Epstein and others. Very sick." Another said, "Mel has been pushing out these conspiracy theories for a long time. He even acted in a movie based on a conspiracy theory." So now the conversation shifts back to Mel. Was he raising red flags years ago, or are people connecting dots that don't actually line up? And bigger question, could all this attention bring him fully back into Hollywood's spotlight? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the next messy video on your screen. I'll see you on the next one.